So let's get into today's session, which is saving your SEO, stopping duplicate content in its track. What we're going to cover this afternoon is what is duplicate content, what is copy content, can you be penalized for duplicate or copied content, what causes duplicate content, how you can tell if you actually have duplicate or copied content, and then how do you avoid having duplicate content. Hey there, it's Steve. Just a quick reminder to smash that like button, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my new content. Your support helps the channel reach more viewers, and you'll always be in the loop when new videos drop. Now, let's get back into it. So let's first go with some quick definitions here with what is duplicate content. Well, basically, duplicate content exists whenever there's more than one version of a page that's actually indexed by the search engine. This can happen for many reasons. We'll get into that. But wherever there are multiple versions of a page indexed, it's sometimes difficult for the engines to determine or to decide which of those multiple pages that it should show for a relevant search query by some user at Google. And the engines, their aim is to provide all of their users with the best experience possible, which means that they really are going to show duplicate pieces of content. And instead, they're going to be forced to choose which version they feel is the best fit for the query, but that may not be the one that you want selected to be shown. So according to Google, duplicate content generally refers to substantive blocks of content within or across different domains that either completely match each other's content or they're appreciably similar. And most of the times, this is not deceptive in origin, at least not these days. Back in the old days, it was really bad. But Google's taken actions over the years, including the Panda update, to really limit and minimize some of this duplicate content issues. If it still exists, it's typically not deceptive in nature. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But duplicate content can result in a poor user experience when a visitor can see substantially the same content repeated within a set of search results that they may have done. This was very prevalent way back in the day where somebody would get a site that was ranking really well on Google and they would duplicate that site on 15, 20 different sites. Exactly the same site, but different URLs, different .coms basically. And at one point back in the day, this is long time ago, you could do a search for something and like 8 of the top 10 results would be the exact same page from that same producer, but on 8 different websites. So it was really crazy. And obviously, Google didn't want that because that wouldn't be good for your users. Google's always been user-focused and user-centric, more so now than ever. But if you went to a site, a search result, and you had 8 of the same things showing up, you're likely going to just bolt and never use that search engine again because it's not providing you value. And so that's really where this whole thing began back in the day. So again, when it comes to duplicate content and duplicate URLs, a lot of times, if you look at these 4 URLs that I've got written here, most people, I think, would consider these the same URLs, right? www.example.com or example.com and a slash, or maybe www.example.com/index.html or example.com/index.html. Either one, with or without www and so on. Now, technically, each of those URLs are different, and a web server could return completely different content for each of them. So because the possibility exists that these could be separate or could return different information, Google, as long as the URL can show up in a browser window, assumes that it is a unique piece of content. And if all 4 of those are showing up in the URL, but it's the exact same content on it, well, guess what? You've got duplicate content, even though there's different URLs. So at its core, anytime the same or nearly the same content appears on 2 or more URLs that can be seen in a browser like Chrome or Edge or Firefox, well, you've got duplicate content. And as a result, the engines don't specifically know which version to display in their results. So they'll just pick one they think is best, right?